we do a prayer before we record it?
Oh, it says begin the Zoom recording and then invite someone to offer a prayer. So you just record and then have prayer.
Backwards.
Yep. So would someone like to say a prayer?
I can say it.
All right. Thanks, Kelsey.
Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for the opportunity that we have to gather as a group tonight to better understand the principles that we're learning. And we ask that you'll bless this meeting, that thy Spirit will be with us, and that we can have good conversation and take what we learned tonight and apply it to our lives. And we are so grateful for all of our many blessings, and we say these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 All right. So it says to discuss the following questions and any others that come to mind. So it's basically the questions that we answered on our discussion board. From your personal experience, what have been key behaviors in effective teams? So does anyone have any examples that they want to share?
With mine, it's pretty similar to what the case study said. I think it's really important that everyone has equal time to participate, that you have participation from everybody, and then everyone's pretty considerate of what everyone else is saying, and they how they phrase it is average social sensitivity. But also on top of that, I think it's also pretty cool when you can have a pretty diverse group, like someone who's a Bulldogs fan can get along with someone and have a conversation, someone from Florida, something kind of like that. You have diverse backgrounds that can communicate effectively and still get somewhere. And I think it's also important that you have a good sense of humor along with it. I think, let's see, who was it? I think it was Kelsey last week stated that she thought it was pretty nice to not have a dry group, that you had some sense of humor, right? Yeah. So I think that's a really important thing in groups, is that you have to have that kind of mentality of everyone gets to speak. You can talk to everyone, even though if they're maybe a little bit different than what you're thinking. So.
That says to me like a judgment-free zone, because I think that's so big. I am always so scared to speak out because I'm scared of being judged. And I know that I'm not the only one, but I've learned just to speak my mind, and if someone judges me, I'm not going to judge them for judging me. So judgment-free zone, I think, is important.
Yeah.
I even kind of figure out that's like for life, that's good too. Part of me, like once I figured out I really don't care what other people think, what I say or do, like I was much happier after that. Throughout life too, so I'm not even in groups, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a group last semester for a big project. Whatever we got on the project was our final grade. And for us, the nice thing is that we all got to know each other throughout the semester. So for 2 months, we kind of already knew who we were and everything. And when we were reading through the case about the team A and team B, we were like the team B. Like, we didn't try, but it was hard for us to stay on topic sometimes, but then we'd get back on topic and stuff. But kind of similar to those characteristics, like when I was reading through it, I was like, hey, that was like our group. We knew each other. We were not scared to talk to each other. We kind of like, whenever somebody had something going on and they couldn't complete something, we understood. And so we just tried to see how can the other three of us make up for that, or for whatever deadline we had to make or topic or whatever. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing for us was that we got to know each other personally that whole 2 months before. So it prepared us for that last month of our project, and we did well. We did good on our project. We were all happy with our grades. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to build chemistry, especially when you have to work together in a group. I feel like I've been pretty lucky. This is my last semester at BYU Idaho, and every semester I feel like I've had pretty good groups. Last semester, Jeremy and myself were in a group together. And
I was about to say, I hope you're going that direction.
Yeah. And really, Jeremy, that one was the hardest because the two other girls in our group didn't always participate all the time, but still me and Jeremy were the consistent ones. And really, I mean, I didn't feel like we had a bad group. We just didn't get as much participation as what I'd like. But man, every other group has been awesome. And I've got a guy that I work with. He's going to Arizona State University, and he is doing online program. And he says, man, my groups have been the worst. No one will communicate. I try and get the ball rolling. Nobody does anything. And he said it is so hard to get these projects done. So I think for the most part, I've been blessed and had amazing groups. And it helps when people are willing to just get the job done and do it.
I think one thing that kind of helps, at least here in this group, and then just being at BYUI, is that, you know, we all share something that's pretty important to us, you know, and so that kind of really puts us at a very same perspective of life, regardless of where we are at, right? So we respect each other's decision to worship, and we believe the same way, and so because of that, I think I don't mean that anyone else is not, but I think our morals are a little bit different. And so therefore the ability to be in a group and get along, as long as you're not a Florida fan, it's great.
Oh, that was quite a jab.
It's all right. There's going to be a lot more. I'll make chance to speak up.
I'm just spewing truth. That's it.
Well, I mean, even kind of, I'm just thinking too of, you know, our group is to have a tennis band. You know, we have all sorts of stuff.
Jeremy, you're really breaking up.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Couldn't understand you there.
Just watch all of our faces. You'll know when you're breaking up because we're all
like R2D2 or something right there talking. Uh-oh.
Hey, we're
Walk towards the tree, buddy.
I'm sure it was a great answer.
There you go.
I'm sure it was a great answer.
It was a one.
Can you hear me now?
yes.
A little bit.
Okay, well, I'll keep it short. But I think even with us, like one of us missing missing a tennis banquet, you know, we all have stuff going on that we're sacrificing and have busy lives. So I think.
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got part of that.
We got tennis banquet.
I think that he may have been going towards the direction that we all have the same goal in mind and we all want to be successful. And I think that that's huge in a group because like Eric was saying, if you have people in the group that don't communicate and they don't participate, like it drags you down and it opens your eyes to realize maybe they don't have the same goal as you. Maybe they don't care about what grade they get in the class. Whereas some of us, I am an A+ student and it drives me insane when I don't get an A. Like I get so frustrated with myself. So having the same goal in mind, I think is a big part of it. And that is exactly what Jeremy was saying.
We're such a good group that she knew exactly what Jeremy was saying, although he couldn't say it.
I can read your mind, Jeremy. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So the next one is, what do group norms have to do with effective team building? What would you say your current group norms include? Unspoken and spoken norms. Are they healthy group norms? If not, what could be changed?
Well, we'll let Kelsey go ahead and answer for Jeremy. So go ahead, Kelsey.
I spoke first last time. I'm going to give someone else the floor. I talked.
No, it's not you speaking. You're speaking for Jeremy.
Jeremy, send me some like vibes. Send it this way. Or just type it in Messenger and I'll
There you go.
Well, I think we actually hit it kind of at the very beginning about how it's kind of nice how everyone kind of has like a good sense of humor, and we can talk about things and kind of move forward. But more than anything, I think the norm is to like, it's okay to joke around. It's okay to kind of listen to people talking, and I think we pretty much touched on that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like learning about these group norms because it's think of the different groups that you're a part of, and then think of like those written and even the unwritten rules, right, that are a part of that group, whether it's like a sports team or like one specifically that you play on, right, or just in class. And then it's fun to see when people break kind of those unwritten rules. So what I'm thinking of is specifically like in class when people just make like really awkward comments or just something out of the ordinary, and you're like, that was kind of weird. That wasn't like in our code of how things are supposed to be. And so that you just notice that stuff when it happens. And also I just really like this vibe that comes from this group. It's a lot different from my last group, that's for sure. So I'm already appreciating it more.
Dallin, we didn't find out. Where are you at? Or where are you from?
So I'm from Arizona. I'm up on campus right now in Rexburg.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my second to last semester studying psychology.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't think there's no one else on campus, is there, in our group?
I was.
Yeah, Gabe was.
Yeah. You were kicked out of Rexburg to go back to Florida.
Last time.
No, now's the time to be on campus, though. It feels really good here. So.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say one thing too that I like that I've noticed about our group is that, you know how in the case study they were talking about how some introverts, when they were in groups, because of the culture of the group, they became extroverts, like they talked more. I'm not an introvert, but I can feel that, like, even if you are one in this group, we kind of, the way that we communicate with each other is inviting. So I feel like we all come from, just looking at you guys, I mean, we all look like we come from different backgrounds, with different personalities, different stages in our lives. And so, even though we may feel different, I like the fact that we, it just feels natural. Everything when we talk feels natural and it comes out easy. And I think it's easy for someone who would be shy to, be a participant in our group and share their ideas, even if they struggle with it in other groups that they've been in.
Yeah.
I think we have a very relaxed group. That's what, it's just relaxed. We're not like, get to the point, okay, bye. Say our 2 sentences and goodbye. Like, we just have such a good conversation.
We're not the team A, we're the team B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Use the chat.
Do it.
I think he said.
Chelsea, what is he saying?
I got that when he said the Florida Gators suck.
Yeah, no, that was.
Sorry, Gabe. I can't stop. I'm on the roll now, my man.
Don't worry, it'll come, man. It'll come.
Oh, jeez.
Oh gosh, that's
he's gonna stop by your house and do something terrible on his way through.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
No, man, it's all right.
He said he's happy. That's what he was saying.
It was day 14,000 the other day, wasn't it? It was like last week or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm rolling on. It's all right.
So yeah. So we definitely have healthy group norms.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So how does psychological safety in a team increase overall effectiveness? What are the roles of communication and empathy in creating psychological safety?
So I'm trying to remember without reading the case. So that is the whole where they understand people, I think is what I'm trying to dang it, I'm gonna butcher it now. You're out.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track though, Gabe. It's like where they can read people, they can understand when things are getting
Yeah. There was 2 things that make it up. I forget the first one. I read it earlier today, but
it kind of reminds me of what Kelsey was talking about, where it's like a no judgment zone. People just feel comfortable sharing. I think might be it, but if you find it, go for it.
It's equality and distribution of conversation and average social sensitivity.
That's what it was. The distribution of the part I was forgetting. So the question was, let me flip back. So how is it effective? Well, me personally, I like when everybody in the group participates and shares and there's equal talking. Because the problem is at least in my case, when we've had kind of someone who just talks more, I kind of tune out after I start hearing the same person talk over and over again. And for me, sometimes their credibility starts to go away once they keep talking. And I don't know. I think it's just a natural thing. But yeah, I like the whole idea of making sure everyone has equal time to share their thoughts and everything.
Definitely, I think it helps to, when one person says something, to build upon that and continue to talk about that. I think that helps the other person that originally started the conversation to help them feel good that they're contributing. Instead of, if someone says something and you disagree and you start bashing them, they're not going to feel good. They're not going to feel comfortable. They're not going to want to talk anymore.
It's like with anything, if you are trying to talk to someone and they're like, yeah, yeah. And they're like, you can tell they're not listening, you're gonna be like, forget it. You didn't listen to a word I just said. I'm not gonna ever talk to you again because why would I waste my breath? So like, you guys are all nodding, but I'm hoping that you're really listening.
I agree, Kelsey. What'd you say?
Yeah, keep going.
I want to chat that one up and put it in the chat.
You're breaking up a little bit, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Just kidding,
Kelsey,
Jeremy.
I gotta know.
I'm not talking anymore.
I gotta know. What are you eating, though? What are you eating? I mean, come on.
Have you guys been to New Mexico? If you haven't, then you won't know. It's
No.
chimichanga from Allsups. It's a fried burrito. Basically,
Oh my gosh.
it's so good. It's so bad for you, but it's so good.
That's all food that's good for you all food that tastes good is bad for you.
Correct.
Isn't it?
That's
I
correct.
mean, I'm drinking water, so that
You're-
cancels it out, right?
Yeah, well, yes, if that's the way you want to feel.
Oh, you know what, guys? I forgot. When my kids were here, we found a cool geocache over here.
What?
You're talking about?
You're talking about Pokemon?
It's kind of like back, right? It's back up in like that crack over there.
We can't see
I
anything,
think
Jeremy.
he's talking to the group he's with.
So you can actually hear me now?
Yeah,
You can hear me?
It works perfectly when he's not talking to us. So.
Tell me again what rock it's under.
That one over there in the hole.
So you seriously can't hear me now when I'm not talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe I know you guys are having a wonderful conversation about New York food or New Mexico chimichangas, but
Deep fried burrito.
yeah, there you go. So one thought I had, in the story of that group, they were talking about that guy stands up and he says, hey, before a meeting, he says, hey, I have cancer. And he starts the meeting. One thing, I think part of it, like group symmetry doesn't just happen within a meeting, because if it's somebody that I knew just started off and said, hey, I have cancer, I'd kind of be like, oh, what are you supposed to do with that now? And so I think, part of the group, I know we can't all get together and hang out. We don't work together, but, I think part of like corporate groups and other groups, it's more than just working good in a meeting. It's working good throughout the whole environment. And so in that situation, it is okay when the guy was like, oh, hey, I have cancer. And everybody's like, okay, whatever they did, and then moved on. But I think, for some groups that can be hard when that's their only experience with each other.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made any sense or if you could hear me, but
Yeah, we're here too.
It did. You're good.
so, because I was just like trying to think, kind of put myself in those shoes. If, obviously, it would support and be there, but I think, I agree with everything you're saying, the group, banter, what we do is important, but, there's also some, I guess a time and place for certain things. That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then, that the group works good together outside of just meetings.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely important to get to know each other.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's hard to work with people that you know nothing about.
think Jeremy's point is a good lead-in on the next question about how sharing personal experience and being vulnerable can influence team dynamics. And a quote from the study I really liked, because what the guy said was, he said, most of the friends that I know through work, most of my friends I know are through work. If I can't be open and honest at work, then I'm not really living, am I? So I kind of like it also along that sense of, if you're spending a majority of your time somewhere at work and you're surrounded by people and you're not able to really be able to connect with anything, it's just kind of like a check in, check out, like what are you doing with your life? And that's kind of the whole reason why that guy who had cancer said why it's so worthwhile for him to keep working even when he has cancer, because it's not about the money. Obviously the guy has money. I mean, he has 2 homes. He does well. It's more of just, it's really rewarding, and he likes being around the people that he's with.
Yeah, I thought that part of the study that we read and just the whole idea is it's pretty powerful, just because first off, to do that, to come out and say something personal, or just for anybody to say anything like that, and with people that you don't really know outside of work, it helps with breaking down those barriers and walls that you may have, and also that other people will have. I think when I don't know if vulnerable is the right word, but whenever we come out and say that we're dealing with problems, or that something hard is going on with our lives, people, I think naturally, other people, when they hear that stuff, they want to help, and so that desire for people want to help helps them feel better with talking. I'm trying to stay on the right track here, but so because we all have that desire to want to help people, when we hear about that, I think it makes it easier to then work with other people, and to just communicate effectively as well.
I think it makes you personable. Like, it helps others to realize you are a person and you have your issues like they have their issues, and that's something that you can relate on. Is, I don't have a perfect life. I know Catherine doesn't have she may have a perfect life, but
far from it.
Everybody has their own issues, and when you are willing to share and open up with your members of your team or whatever, I think it builds that relationship and gives you something stronger to build on. Does that make sense? I'm totally just rambling now, but
no, it does. I get it. And like I said, and I kind of didn't mean to say it was all this negative thing, but my point too is I think it's good that he felt comfortable in a group enough to do that, when that I don't know. His team sounds like he has a good team. He's built a good team where, everybody's comfortable doing that. And so, not everybody has that. So,
yeah. Cool.
Okay. What can you do as an individual to initiate effective team behavior?
My first thought is talk. Don't just sit there. If you have something to say it. That kind of, you don't want to be the person that's sitting in the corner and then say, well, I had something to say. So if you have something to say, kind of my first thought is say it. So that opens up for everybody to speak.
Yeah.
I like that was the first thing that was said, Jeremy. That's good.
Lead by example.
That's why I did it really quick.
There it is, right there. Just jump in there.
Even when your phone doesn't have a signal.
It wouldn't have made sense if you went second.
And in case I lose signal.
There he goes again, out.
Yeah, there you went. See you later.
I don't know if you guys heard me, but I said lead by example.
Yeah.
Whatever you want your team to do, you have to do it. Because if I want to have a conversation with our team, like, I'm not going to sit here and be on mute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
True.
So talk. Just kidding.
I'm sorry. Let me put you back on.
I'm trying to think. I think a lot of the stuff we've kind of talked about it, that we've mentioned them throughout the whole thing, but I think it's just showing people that we care about our group and their success as well. because I know a part of group, reason why we're in groups is that we, a lot of times we just have to with work or school or whatever. And so I feel like some people have the mentality of, I'm in this group and I need you guys to do good so I can get a good grade. But I think if we have the mentality of, I want to help do my part and do good so that we all can get a good grade, kind of flip it around. That encourage other people, I would think.
I mean, and that's life today too. I mean, how many companies do you know hire an employee and shove him in a corner, and he works alone for the rest of his career? We're learning how to work in groups in school and here in class because it's a real skill that we're going to have to use out in the field. When we're out. I'm obviously a little bit older student, and so. I'm part of a sales team, and so our group we have to the same ideas that we're talking about. Honestly, I took the article that we read this week and sent it to my sales manager because he's got parts of his groups that are not cohesing together. They're just not getting things done, and so I shared that with him. So the same idea. What we're trying to do here is learn how to work in a group. And then because we're going to go out and we're going to try to make a living and we're going to be working in groups. So the idea really translates straight over into our careers.
Yeah, and I think along with that, whether we want to or not, even if you do have that rare job that you don't have to be in groups, at some stage you're going to have to work in a group at some point. It could be in church callings, it could be in any volunteer, anything, families. You got to work in the Zoom group for your family to do, whatever. Like I think I was reading another book, never mind, but it was talking about working as a family to come to meet goals and plan out activities that you want to do. You have to work together. And so anyways, it's always going to be a part of what we do. And so yeah, I think it's important that we continue to learn the skill and continue to want to continue to learn the skill, because we're never gonna master it, and I'm sure there's things that we're always gonna be good at. But yeah.
Well, we're all part of a group of a family, so that's where it starts at, is in our group of a family.
Yeah. I haven't always enjoyed doing group work at BYU Idaho, because I think, man, when I do group work at work, it's totally different. We're meeting there, we can talk, discuss, see stuff. I mean, we can do that here, but I just started thinking, my sister works 100% from home, and she does group work all of the time, and so she has to do group work exactly like what we're doing. My job that I do, I could really do my job from home. I really don't need an office. And I think when the next generation takes over the company, I'll probably start doing that a little bit more. And so for me, it was a good realization that online work like this is important. And, there are so many people that work from home, so it's important to be able to communicate and do it online.
Yeah.
I believe. Jeremy's getting sensitive on us.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just kidding.
Wait, we probably have to read his messages out loud though, right? So, because the teacher probably can't see him.
He just left.
He's connecting with me. Oh, we made fun of him, and now he's like, I'm out.
Kelsey, that was so rude.
Yes. Oh.
Judgment free zone, guys. Don't judge me.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. As I judge him. I wasn't judging.
We didn't make him feel comfortable in our group, and he's like, peace.
Oh.
No, he was saving himself from falling off a rock. He just sent me those vibes. He had to save himself, so he turned off his phone.
Oh. Hope is good.
Oh, I feel bad now. Jeremy, come back. I don't feel bad.
All right. So, supposed to notice the key concepts from this article by providing a summary of the discussion. My goodness.
I think
We
we've
covered
kind of done that the
a
whole
lot.
time.
What was that, Tara?
I think we've kind of done that the whole time. We've just kind of regurgitated a lot of our points over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, we have really. So, are there any last comments?
Yeah, I just want to say go Dogs.
Yeah, go Gators, man. Oh, I can't wait till
I'm sorry, y'all, but this
October.
if you guys are upset by this, we probably better go back and see if we can get separated in groups because
Yeah, right. He's going to be like, no.
I'm pretty sure that this is going to continue on for a while.
Put Jeremy, or put Terrell in his own little group by himself.
You know what? I may have to. I'm sorry.
All right. I have to get along with the Florida State fans, which are just as bad, you know. I have family members who are Florida State fans, and I still get along with them, so we're good.
Sometimes.
Okay, so Terrell, this spreadsheet says you edited it today, but it's not showing you. Where did you put your name?
I put it on the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did someone pick up next
Oh my
week?
gosh, it's gone.
Yeah.
I put it under that Jamie Turner.
Okay. Yeah, I've found sometimes with these Google Docs, they are weird.
So I had it under Patagonia, but is there not a discussion that week or something?
I went through and was looking. There isn't a discussion that week for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I took it off there and I sent you a message and asked you to put it somewhere else. But
yeah, I put it under that one, but I'll put it back.
Okay. So
Dalen's not on there. Is that how you say it?
Dallin.
Yeah.
Dallin.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll just call you Kelsey, and then we'll be good.
Oh.
It's better than Kelky. I get Kelky all the time.
Kelky.
I'm like,
oh.
Wow. Awesome. Wait, I like that better, though. I'll go with that one. Let's do Kelky.
I have a Dalen in another group.
Yeah, sure you do.
I do.
You make it up at this point in time. I'm trying to justify the way she said it.
Okay. So Dallin, did you get the link to this Google Doc?
Did you just send it right now?
No, I sent it before. I can resend it.
I'm gonna put it right now in the chat, and then you can just copy it from the chat.
Oh, perfect.
Because it's got the group leaders for each week, and then I'll put the link on there after I get it for this, so that you can submit it in the assignment.
Awesome.
So
okay, so it looks like week 5 is the only one, right?
Yeah, next week, if you'll do that next week.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Nobody wanted it.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in charge. Okay, sounds good. I will take a look at that and be ready for it.
We didn't split the group up just for that reason.
Yeah, that works out perfectly. Everybody has 1 week.
Yeah, worked out.
All right. So I'm going to stop the recording.
Great.